Well, hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the Ordinary's Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum. Now, I have a couple of videos on my channel about different lash/brow growth serums that you can buy over the counter. These are considered cosmetics, and I've talked to you all about them as products that often, in many cases, contain ingredients called prostaglandin analogs, which is also what is in the prescription lash growth serum Latisse. Latisse is bimatoprost, but there are other similar compounds that you can find in these over-the-counter lash growth and brow growth cosmetics. And while these ingredients are generally safe and certainly can be effective, they do come with potential side effects such as lid irritation, redness, hyperpigmentation around the eyes, change of the color of your eyes, and more worrisome is loss of fat around the eyes. Now, there are also a lot of other cosmetics that you can buy without a prescription that claim to be for lashes and brows that don't have these ingredients, and the Ordinary's Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum is one such product. Now, one thing I want to point out, one thing in general I would say I appreciate about the Ordinary as a brand in general is they never seem to make outrageous claims about what the product can do. So specifically, they don't call this a lash growth serum, they don't promote it in that way. They say a volumizing lash and brow serum for a thicker, fuller, healthier look. Okay, so that really implies cosmetic enhancement, not necessarily growth. Now, it does contain peptides in it, several peptides: myristoyl pentapeptide 17, biotinyl tripeptide 1, oligopeptide 2, acetyl tetrapeptide 3. Can peptides in lash and brow growth serums grow the lashes, grow the brows? Possibly, although more research is needed. There are some research studies with regards to peptides for hair growth. However, these revolve around hair growth on the scalp, not lash growth enhancement. And the studies that we do have on peptides for hair growth are done in combination with botanic extracts. So it's really hard to nail down what exactly it is that is leading to the appearance of hair growth in these small, limited studies. Proposed underlying mechanisms of action for how peptides may help with lash growth are perhaps in stimulating the production of keratins, which are what constitute the lash itself, perhaps also a role in stimulating the dermal papilla, which is basically the part of the hair follicle that is, active in synthesizing and growing the hair, or stimulating the release of important growth factors for lash growth. However, there are no formal studies on peptides for lash growth. Normal lash growth is similar but different in some aspects to how the hair on your scalp grows. Just like the hair on your scalp, the follicles that make up your eyelashes, they have a hair growth cycle. Anagen, which is the growing phase, catagen, which is kind of a transition phase, and telogen, which is a resting phase. The growing phase, anagen, lasts anywhere from 4 to 10 months. So an individual's ability to grow out their lashes is related to their genetics in many cases in terms of how long that growing phase lasts. Now, in the case of prostaglandin analogs, it's thought that they work by increasing the duration of that growing phase. On average, normal lash growth is anywhere from 0.12 to 0.14 millimeters per day. During the transition phase, the catagen phase, which lasts about 15 days, you have disruption of the blood supply to the follicle. Then after that, the follicle enters into the telogen or resting phase, and that usually lasts anywhere from 4 to 9 months. It takes time to grow the lashes out. It's a slow process. Think about scalp skin as opposed to eyelid skin. Eyelid skin is much thinner. The epidermis and the dermis of the eyelids, very thin, very delicate. As a result, the lash follicle is much shorter in comparison to the scalp follicle. So that may allow for better access of active topical ingredients for lash growth in comparison to for hair growth on the scalp. What else is in the ordinary lash and brow serum? Caffeine. There is promising research for the topical application of caffeine for hair growth on the scalp. No studies looking at caffeine for lash or brow growth for that matter. To what extent it's going to help is difficult to say for sure. Now, it's thought that caffeine may help with androgenic alopecia on the scalp by inhibiting the conversion of testosterone to the more potent form dihydrotestosterone. But to what extent that's going to be applicable to your lashes and help with lash growth has not been tested. Caffeine is also an antioxidant, so it may help in cutting down on inflammation, irritation that otherwise would contribute to lash breakage and slowing of lash growth rate. Then this has some other botanic ingredients that are frequently found in hair growth serums, such as larix, europa, wood extract, and red clover. Now, these ingredients don't have any good clinical studies to back them up. Allegedly, they help with hair follicle biology, but there is a lack overall in good quality research supporting the efficacy of these ingredients in hair growth, in brow growth, in lash growth. Now, the formula also has panthenol, it has arginine, it has glycine, and it has glycoproteins. I think that these ingredients help maybe perhaps cut down on lash breakage and help with conditioning the lashes. Overall, in my opinion, I suspect that any benefits you might obtain from using this product, whether it be on your lashes or whether it be on your brows, is in conditioning those hairs and reducing breakage. I am not convinced, as it stands now, that the ingredients in this formula are going to impact change on the lash growth cycle, and that might be fine by you, all right? You may just be looking for something that helps your lashes break less, helps your brows look fuller. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about this product is because it is a product that does not have prostaglandin analogs. So from that standpoint, I like it better than other options on the market that do have prostaglandin analogs in them. You will not find me recommending a lash growth serum on here because the majority of them have those prostaglandin analogs, and I don't feel comfortable recommending that to you guys knowing the risk of side effects. I would much rather tell you this is how they work, this is a risk, and it's up to you to make an informed decision. But when I make a product recommendation, it's basically an endorsement for a product. I don't feel comfortable endorsing products that have the potential to cause orbital fat loss around your eye. So that's why you won't find me recommending those. But I wanted to mention this one because people often ask me about this when I bring up the prostaglandin analog issue in lash and brow serums that you can buy in Sephora and Ulta. They'll say, well, this doesn't have those ingredients. Can you talk about it? So this particular product, in my opinion, the ingredients are probably primarily working to condition and to reduce breakage, which can be helpful because the lash, the brow growth cycles, they are slow, they don't happen overnight. And so cutting down on breakage can definitely help in keeping your lashes as they grow out, looking longer, looking fuller. And ultimately, I think that is a cosmetic outcome that a lot of people are going to be happy with. Now, how safe is this in comparison to other lash growth serums that do have prostaglandin analogs? Well, you're not gonna likely run into the risk, at least that has ever been reported, of changing the color of your eyes. There's no concern that you would have orbital fat loss with these ingredients. They don't work as prostaglandin analogs. But as with anything that you put on your skin, there is always the risk of irritation, contact dermatitis. And if you have a deeper skin tone, irritation from a contact dermatitis can lead to what's called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation secondarily. So it's not a guarantee that you won't run the risk of hyperpigmentation, but all that to say, there's no ingredient in this that directly leads to hyperpigmentation. It would be secondary to any irritation that you might experience. In addition to your genetics, you may note with age that your lashes and your brows are sparser. That is actually common with age. There are also underlying medical conditions that can contribute to thinning of the brows, sparse brows, and lash loss. For example, hypothyroidism is known to cause the brows to thin towards the lateral aspect of them, the outermost part. You can also see thinning of the outermost part of the eyebrows if you are someone who has atopic dermatitis, commonly referred to as eczema. When your eczema is really flared and poorly controlled, it can lead to thinning of the outermost aspect of the brows. You can also get lash loss as it relates to starting and stopping birth control pills because they shift the hair cycles around a bit. Now that's going to be temporary, but even if it's temporary, it's a slow process. Other medications could also impact the lash growth cycle, such as prednisone, a medication you might be prescribed to cut down inflammation in the body from a serious illness. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Recently, I did a video on medications that can lead to hair loss and affect the hair cycle. Those can likewise impact the lash and brow growth cycle. So check that video out. I'll put it on the end slate, but in summary, the ordinary multi-peptide lash and brow growth serum probably gives cosmetic enhancement to the brows and lashes, but more research is needed to say for sure if the ingredients in the formula truly will impact brow and lash growth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.